Okay. I think we might as well just continue. We do have in the studio with us Mr. Kenneth Odidika, who is a legal practitioner, and we had to say thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah. Where do you stand on this conversation? I'm sure you've been listening to the debate all week long, perhaps, and you've seen the controversy brewing both before the Senate resumed and even when the Senate resumed. We did hear that, that debate on the floor of the Senate. What do you make of it so far?
Thank you very much. Yes, I've listened, I've observed. The problem is that when you're used to getting things free, you rarely make an effort to work to generate income. For a long time, Nigeria has been on a free meal because of our oil, the oil we have and we sell. So we have not bothered to actually do that which will generate income and improve the lives, genuinely improve the lives of Nigerians. And even when they now bring in these economists, so-called economists, or maybe we read economics, and all they've done have been to ride, or to, with due respect to some of them, scam the system. And that's how they've made their money. In reality, when we had people who were generating income, who were creating income, the likes of Dumegu Ojukwu, the likes of Dandata, they didn't go to any London School of Economics or study economics in Harvard or wherever it is, or Harvard Business School. But they were applying common sense, which seems to have taken flight. Now, look at it. How do you say I should tighten my belt when we continue frittering away our resources? People, the government people are still living as if we're in the oil boom of the 70s, when the then head of state said, money wasn't our problem, but how to spend it. When we now know that obviously money is our problem. So I'm not in favor of selling off the national assets. I'm more in favor of cutting our expenses. There are so many things that we need to cut down on. You can't be living as if you don't have any problem. Formerly, time was when you could live on your generator if there was no public power supply, and it would run on and on and on because you could afford to go and buy diesel because you have so much money in your pocket. If you don't have that money, why do you still have to go ahead to run diesel as if you have money in your pocket? And you don't go to, if you sell the national assets we have today, for instance, they were talking about NLNG, NNPC. If you sold those things today and then consume them naturally, what do we do in 3, 6 months, 12 months from now? What are you going to sell then? Because the money, you don't sell assets to consume. If there is need for it, you sell assets to invest, to use to create wealth.
What gives you the impression the government is selling assets to consume?
Well, some people have already said that, they need to fund the 2016 budget. That's consumption.
Because so far so good. What we've heard is that what they intend to do is to fund infrastructure, which we're in dire need of. And we've heard, in some instances, concrete plans. We've heard of General Electric coming in to take over, the rail line system, single gauge system or so. We've heard of some concrete, plans, you were saying, in the areas of infrastructure that you're looking at. You don't agree with them?
I don't agree with them. We see what happens whenever they sell these things. Who they sell them to matters a lot. If you say General Electric is coming, let's leave the textbook economics and talk about practical economics. If you decide to bring in General Electric, or throw it open, really, throw these things open, and give incentive to those who are coming to take over, they will not give you any money. Take over, have some sort of management ownership arrangement with them. As they take over, let us talk about refineries. You allow some consortium to take over a refinery, use their own resources to develop or to repair and update the refineries, and with a promise to give them crude oil at a certain price, and then they will sell some percentage of their products to Nigeria, because we are a massive consumer of petroleum products. Now, with that, the people can go to raise money, knowing that with time they will recoup. But if what we normally do in Nigeria is, come and take over this, we'll be giving you 10 barrels of crude oil daily, and we'll start giving the crude oil immediately. Now, rather than go to repair the refinery and use it to produce and sell, they will start selling the crude they are giving to them right away. So it's usually in implementation. And let me tell you something. What the buck actually stops on the executive table. A lot of the things that are going on because the executive arm of government, which actually has the power, is not doing what it ought to do. So in some cases, you have square pegs in round holes. Let me give you a simple example. You go to incorporate a company in a Corporate Affairs Commission, that is executive. They will tell you you cannot establish a hospital without a doctor being on the board, without a doctor being part of people who are incorporating, who are promoting that. Hospital is a business. I'm just using one example. Hospital is, healthcare is massive business. I should know because I'm on the board of one. It's massive business. But they wouldn't let you do that unless you go and bring a doctor to come and be on the business part of it, because that is what promoting the company is about. It's the business part of it. Now, is there a law to that? No. It is just a decision of the Registrar General that that's how he wants to run it. This discourages, and this is just one example I've given you. It runs across the government of the economy of Nigeria. So it is actually the executive that should determine who should be in what position. And then that would drive this. If the person is incompetent, you remove the person. It would appear really that this issue of geographical spread is messy.
Let us quickly, rewind and, take you up on some certain things you've already said. You did say that, yes, indeed, we seem to be in some trouble, that we've lived off oil for too long and as such have not developed other parts of our economy. We have, we've left certain parts of the economy, unattended to, and as such we're in dire straits. So it would seem that you do agree that there is a need to sell assets, but you're afraid that these assets will be sold for consumption, right? Well, that is one of the reasons. And you see, not necessarily selling them. I just said you can have some arrangements where the people come in. You can say it's for 30 years, you can say for whatever number of years. You're looking at concessioning? Some form of concessioning. Some form of concessioning. It's not the one you just concession it, collect money from them, and then they will do what they like with the facility and with Nigerians. So you're saying sell, but with certain conditions? If you need to sell, and it's not everything you need to sell. You don't go and start selling our NLNG, our shares in NLNG. That's even the only place maybe you're getting some good money from now. If you must sell, look at those things that are practically there, that are moribund. Then when you're selling them, you don't just sell them off. Sell them with certain conditions, or rather alienate them with certain conditions that will benefit Nigeria and Nigerians. Not just somebody coming to take, because they will always tell you that if they take some of these things, they will give them, the concessions will give them will be things like crude oil. And the problem I have is that they start giving them the thing right away. And when they give it to them right away, the typical Nigerian businessman, and some of these people who call themselves businessmen are just living off are just rent seekers, will now go for just the things you can get from that sold asset. Asset stripping. So your fear is that, what we've experienced in the past hasn't quite shown that, things are going to be any different from, things are going to be done differently. Correct. We've been told in the past, in certain areas, for instance, when power was privatized, we do remember, being told that the process was very transparent. Do you agree that it was transparent? In Nigeria, words are very relative. I mean, what could easily be certain becomes relative. It depends on who's using it. I don't believe it was that transparent, because some people, some consortia that got these, given concession these power plants and power, or that benefited under this power arrangement, couldn't have been qualified. From what we're seeing, they could not have been qualified. However, it does not mean that because of such mistakes in the past or such wrongdoings in the past, we can no longer go ahead and do some of these things. But a transparent process would ensure that it is done well, so that the most qualified will be the people that will take on these things, so they can deliver to the Nigerian people. I can assure you that if Nigerians had power, they will pay for it. You're asking Nigerians now, for instance, to pay for power they're not getting. They have to pay for it. So if the right people get these concessions,